Tell me about your journey.
When I was younger, I've always kind of, like, I was always in the arts, or always had an affinity for the arts. For the longest time, I was really interested in visual arts, but I always had like music in the background, or like in the back of my mind. Around the time I was about like 13 or so, I started getting really interested into music production. Just like seeing how people make beats and stuff, and then around that same time, rapping kind of caught wind at school, and like everyone kind of started wanting to do it. So it was kind of there where I started, and my dad is a musician, so you know, I have that. It's kind of built into my genes. Growing up, it wasn't even a lot of hip hop. It was my dad played a lot of classic rock. You know, everything from like Queen, Bon Jovi, Poison, Kiss. And then my mom, she loved playing like Broadway musicals at home, from like Les Mis to like Miss Saigon. I was actually part of Miss Saigon when they had their run here in '93. So I you know, I had those music influences, and then when I was a kid, you know, I got into like a lot of pop, like your Backstreet Boys, Spice Girls. And then it was only a little later than that where I got into hip hop through my cousins and stuff like that. Just hearing them listen to hip hop. For me, I'm very versatile. You know, I'm mainly rooted in hip hop and R&B, but I've done everything from pop music, house music, dance hall, and everything in between. So, you know, I do have that versatility. I'm not really stuck to one genre, and all the music I make is very different every time I put something out. And I do everything myself, from my own mixing, mastering, do my own cover art, music videos. I just love having that full creative control and being able to have control of everything and not have to rely on anybody else. So yeah, like, you know, I love doing it all in-house with myself. So
dope.
Little bit of both, multiply by dose, cause I goes like earth when the fire with the flows. Wait, then I'm gonna go like the flash with the flow. Not a villain, but I still want the cash in the vault. Ike with the strike when I'm smashing you, bro. Some of y'all think I ain't gonna last, but I don't give a blood clap with your dumb talk. You off top, I'm a young gun, I can't stop, won't stop.
yeah, so I graduated Seneca at York. I did their independent music production program. I graduated in 2012. So that was like a 1-year program. We learned the 3 pillars of music that they taught: business, performance, and production. So I graduated there. A little after that, I got into the Remix project, which is not a school, but it was like a youth program. And you know, one of Drake's producers was one of our teachers. Big names from like the Toronto hip hop community ran that and kind of facilitated that for us. So that one producer is Hagler. He produced Furthest Thing from Drake, among other things. And then DJ Agile, who's an OG from the Toronto hip hop community. He was the main guy who ran our side of the program. Charity. We're a hip hop charity. We teach workshops based on our skill sets. We do everything from performances, workshops, hold events, all based on spreading education through hip hop and we cater mostly to the youth. So I teach. I facilitate mainly our beat making workshops. I've also facilitated our hip hop our MC workshops as well. So I've been doing that for about 2-ish years already. Yeah.
Wait, so you do it with a like open culture, right? Like not just Filipinos.
No, yeah, it's just anything and everything hip hop. So yeah, with Unity I do that. In terms of within the community, within the Filipino community, I'm aside from being a FILCAN music member, so I'm part of Folklorica Filipino Canada.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I'm our lead musician and our musical director for our group. I've been with them since '06. So we've toured everywhere from, at least personally, I've toured with them in Spain, Portugal, Mexico. We did Poland for a day. And we did a lot of cultural music festivals.
That's great.
You know what, just being able to see different places, meet all these kinds of people, see how far the grasp of music and hip hop goes beyond to just listening to the music. That's a big thing for me. You know, throughout all these experiences, I've learned a lot about myself. Learned kind of how to utilize my energy for certain things and put my focus in certain things and where to not put it at times. And just know how to, you know, channel myself and my emotion and my life experiences through music, through all these different platforms. You know, I always try to manifest like different performances and different stages that I kind of want to grace. And within the last 5 years that I've thought about these things, those things have come to me. I've always wanted to do Celebration Square Mississauga. I've always wanted to do a solo hip hop show in Nathan Phillips Square, and I did all that, which is amazing, I'm super grateful for. So for me, Coachella is on my list, or anything similar, anything to that scale. You know, I'm always trying to do bigger and better things and do bigger and better shows and improve on that. And you know, that's Coachella is a big thing that I'd love to do.
Back on front and put guns in the back of the books. Put your ones up. Who in the rest is day one? She's back when I had my back in the wall. And my wallet was low when I had no funds. Who had my back for the jump? If I fall, you catch me. It was so damn low, so low for the drink.
Which round was going when. But for me, they drafted me under the crowd control category. So knowing that, you know, I knew what I wanted to do and how I wanted to approach it. It took me a bit to figure it out because I wanted to get it just right. You know, in my mind, I was like, okay, how do I incorporate the crowd, and what kind of song do I make to incorporate that? For me, my realization was, you know, it wasn't me against my opponent. It's me trying to win the crowd over. So how do I do that? So I ended up writing a song called Gang Love. And, you know, I wrote that for my homies and all the people who supported me. And I kind of translated that into, you know, me talking to the crowd, you know. So, and I wanted something that wasn't so much dark and like trappy and heavy. I wanted something heavy, but also something that sounded fun. You know what I mean? Something that I could have fun performing. And then I started thinking of ways to incorporate the crowd, you know, even writing it within the lyrics to figure out how I can get them to do things without telling them to do things, and just have it spoken through the song. And then I started figuring ways of how I can get them moving and things like that. So I created little pockets of space within that song to be able to make that happen.
Check. Now let me start
for me, it's not so much the best, but probably my favorite so far. I have a song called Elau off an EP that I wrote back in 2020 called Fauna Flora. On a lyrical level, it's very dense, but it's also very it's dense and it's super fast, but it's, you know, there's a lot of substance within that. On a lyrical level, there's a lot of fun references that throw in there, a lot of like sports references. I don't really do sports, but you know, I kind of found a way to weave it in because I wrote the song about like it was like a hype up song for me. Something that I can listen to myself to hype myself up for, like when I go on stage, when I do performances and things like that. And for anyone who can relate to that. On a technical level, it's very, the quickness of it and just trying to execute it during a performance is always very difficult because you got to know when to breathe, how many words you got to fit in, and saying that very clear and concise. So I think Elau, the verse in Elau was popular.
Minds wall of ancient stone, like hieroglyphics in Cairo. Sick as the plague in Rome. I'm Agent Romanoff, wanna holding off for these ancient foes. I'm on another stage in zone, no one else is adjacent on. I'm Jason Bourne, on the path of destruction and blazing out my mind. Busting just like I'm Russian man.
As a community, and putting a name to it, putting faces to it, it's really brought us closer together. Like, you know, we all kind of knew of each other back in the days. Like, of course, shout out to Southeast Cartel. You know, they're the OGs who've kind of put us, you know, they're kind of the main faces of our community. But, you know, having them kind of bring us all together and put us all under one roof, now I feel like we're a much stronger and fortified community, and now we kind of move as a bigger unit as opposed to just individual acts that are Filipino. So shout out to them, shout out to FILCAN for putting me on and you know, putting all of us in the same box together. It's great. So you can find me, best place to find me is Instagram. That's at GEE followed by 9 underscores. And then, yeah, I have all my links through there. So Instagram is the best place. The link in the bio has everything else for my music. Yeah, so big shout out to BALUTNATION. Thank you for having me. Thank you for doing this interview, and thank you for all the work that you do within the community. And you know, we're all going up from here. So.